Racing gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round 1, season 1 of the Spark Truck Race Series here at the Spark Racing League. We're at the virtual Daytona International Speedway, getting ready to send these Titans out on track for the very first time this season. And for the season, I'll be your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting and bringing the action Sandy P 60 frames a second, as it looks like it's going to be a healthy grid here today. I'm seeing about 20 truck drivers have made their way out to the high banks of Daytona, and looking forward to seeing what they can do. Welcome, as always, to the fans, friends, and family from across the world. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate device, and if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. Now, we had the pleasure of calling the first late model race on Monday for the Spark Racing League, so good to see a lot of the same drivers coming out and seeing what they can do in a super speedway type setting. It's going to be a very interesting schedule here for this truck series as well. A lot of different tracks as I get that pulled up. Starting off here at Daytona, we've got Atlanta, Iowa, Michigan, Watkins Glen, Dover, Darlington, and Homestead going to round out the 8-track series. And of course, the Spark Truck Racing Series broadcasted races, live race control, and a top 10 championship purse for these drivers. Looks like, speaking of drivers, getting ready to get gridded up and underway here. And let's go ahead and run through the starting order here. Starting on pole, Jacob Bradley, number 50 machine. Robert Brope starting second. Nathan Gentry starting third. Ry Jones starting fourth. Peter Stewart starting fifth. Ray Beebe starting sixth. Chris Smith starting seventh. Robert Amaral starting 8th. We've got Ryan Rose starting 9th. Dave Grajewski starting 10th. Patrick Hardgrove starting 11th. Nick Seraph starting 12th. Cycling on back to Brian Brope starting 13th. Jeremy Rigney starting 14th. Clifton Simmons starts 15th. Evan Pienta starting 16th. Johnny Rapp starts 17th. Richard Holland starting 18th. Looks like that's going to be Chase Berry starting 19th. Chad Waller starting 20th. And Ashton Cosner will round out the 21 truck grid here today. Good to see such a healthy amount of drivers coming out, getting ready to put on a show for the fans. And again, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering for, as I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the high banks. Now, drivers do not have a fast repair available for them for this main event. So what that means is, if you find yourself with a large amount of damage on this virtual machine, your virtual pit crew will be hammering that thing back into shape. So no get out of jail free card. So it's a 60-lap race. Drivers going to take it maybe a little bit easy. But we'll see who's going to be the first driver gutsy enough to take it 3 wide in the high banks here tonight. As we're going to roll out behind our iRacing safety car. That's Bradley and Gentry on the front row. Brope, Stewart, your second row. Stewart and Jones will be the third row as they pull up alongside the safety car. Jacob Bradley's ready to get this show started here. So we will do one lap of I-pacing conditions. We'll watch that iRacing safety car come down pit road around that turn 4 area. Then Barney, our flagman, will throw the green and get this season started off here tonight. And very impressed with this league. The first time fielding a truck series, I believe. I've seen a lot of these guys in different broadcasts before, so a lot of the usual suspects. But for a season opener, having 21 drivers, quite a good showing. Dustin Volley joined us at the spectator area saying, hey, these guys are nuts not having a fast repair available to them. Could be good. I mean, Daytona super speedway racing, always a bit of what I call the draft gamble on who's going to make it through the big one. We wait for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road. The lights are off. There we go. All eyes on Jacob Bradley. And we are going green flag racing for this season opener here at the Spark Truck Racing Series. Bradley's going to be guarding that inside line. Robert Brobes trying to get some momentum up on the high side. No, I think that's Brobes on the high side, number 5. Yeah, Bradley's guarding the inside, that number 50 Chevrolet. A fleet of Chevrolets up front. Top 5 drivers all on Chevrolet right now. But this is where we're going to see the bit of a high-speed chess game. Historically, I've seen these trucks hit speeds of about 200 miles an hour here at Daytona. Once the draft really gets settled up, looks like Bradley's going to hop back down the low line, leaving Ryan Jones, number 7 machine, to lead the charge up high. Jones chased by Ray Beat and the number 89 Chevrolet. Saw a bit of a blink there from somebody. Now that time by, drivers hitting speeds in excess of 190 miles an hour. As we get them gridded back, or excuse me, not gridded up, but more in line nose to tail. I would not be surprised at all to see that 200 mile an hour number pop up on the side of my screen. As you can see, Bradley giving a hearty shove there to Robert Brooks, his number 5 machine. Jones doing a good job though in the 7. Leading the high side, the number 4 of Nathan Gentry. Looks maybe he's like trying to work the side draft a little bit against Beebe, but very rare I've seen that happen to the inside, working leading on the outside line. But here comes Rye Jones. Big momentum in that number 7 machine, and Jones actually going to take over the race lead very briefly. But it's further back in the field. Ashton Cosner, number 34 machine, running 13th. Cosner up 8 positions so far. Clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 48.1 with a top speed of 203 miles an hour. So Cosner back there really using the draft rest of the field to his advantage. Rye Jones has hopped down to the inside line ahead of Robert Brobes. That's going to lead the 89 machine of Ray Beebe up top. I was expecting things to honestly be a little bit calmer on the opening laps here this season opener, but good to see the drivers kind of picking those passes carefully and not pushing too early on here. All 21 drivers still out on track 4 laps in. Hard charger Ashton Cosner at number 34 Chevrolet, still running 13th out on the track. Cosner looks to be tucked in. I think that's behind Patrick Hargrove, number 74 Ford F-150. And we're on board with Cosner now. A up close and personal view of what the other drivers are seeing here. And shows just how nose to tail the action is. Rye Jones still up front, with Brobes and that number 5 pushing from behind, second in line on the inside. Ray Beebe still leading the charge up on the high side, supported by, I think that's going to be Nathan Gentry, the number 4. No, it's going to be Robert Amaral in the number 77, second in line up on the high side. Have not seen any 3-wide action as of yet. With no fast repair, drivers do not want to get involved in an incident early on, and I think that might be what we're seeing from drivers such as Peter Stewart, the lone Canadian out on track, that 91 Chevrolet. He is down 14 positions and seems to be content just hanging out at the tail end of the draft pack here, letting the other drivers duke it out and see how things are going to go. There's Chase Berry in the 46 Toyota Tundra going up high briefly. But Stewart and Holland here, Berry and Stewart don't want to lose too much of that draft, where they can find themselves on the outside looking in. Jones, Beebe, side by side up front. It's taken Beebe a little while to get that momentum he needed, but it looks like he's going to get a good run here as Jones holds on the inside line. There's Dave Grajewski, number 6 machine, also up 6 positions, running 4th. He's up on the high side. Beebe's run stalls ever so slightly there. Side by side he goes with Rye Jones. Now we're not quite sure what the fuel window is going to be here. These trucks have 70% fuel allotment. I would imagine they could get just about to the halfway mark around lap 30 before we're going to see some green flag stops. Hopefully we can see some green flag stops in a season opener. I've got to say, as a broadcaster and a race fan myself, love to see it where drivers can show a little bit of the off-track skill and strategy. Strategy is the name of the game here at these super speedway play tracks, but we've got big issues. Who was that? It looked like that was Nick Seraph and Jacob Bradley, I think. Bringing out the caution. So the commentator's curse, so it looks like that's going to be Bradley and Seraph involved in that one. Trying to see what happens here. Looks on Bradley, the number 50 machine. I'll back that camera angle up a little bit. Let's see what happened. I can't tell. Bradley's just kind of cruising here on the low side. I think Seraph came down there. Oh, and Seraph unfortunately careens up into the track. That is going to collect Peter Stewart. And not quite sure who the other driver was involved in that one, but Stewart, also an innocent bystander there. Now, Seraph has had connection issues in the past with his hardware. Hopefully that is not the case that we just saw, but very odd to see Seraph come down like that, from at least what it looks like from my point of view. I'd like to reiterate that I am not race control, and there's a whole different department. They've got their own booth and suit and ties to kind of take a look at the action as it's happening. But to me, it looks like Jacob Bradley and Peter Stewart definitely got the worst end of that one. As I believe most of the field's going to come down pit road. Nathan Gentry opts to stay out, number 4 machine. Gentry will be the only driver who stays out. Rye Jones, the number 7 machine, getting some love from the fans from Mr. Matthew. And that will be our first caution of the evening. Again, drivers do not have a fast repair. So if they're involved in any sort of damage or shenanigans, looking at live timing here, Johnny Rapp, Richard Holland, Chad Walker, and Chase Berry still on pit road as well. The drivers with extended stays here. Nick Seraph was able to get back out on track, but he's going to bring it back down pit road for some more repairs. Peter Stewart in pit road for 50, his second time. His first stop was 55 seconds, so Stewart's going to come down pit road as well and try and get some more repairs. See if we can get some bodywork hammered back into place and get them back out on tracks. Try and score some points in this season opener. So first caution of the night, first caution of the season here at the Spark Racing League Truck Series. So Nathan Gentry going to lead a lap here at Daytona, opting to be the only driver to stay out. Nick Seraph still in pit road after a minute of repairs. Chad Waller, that number 66 Ford F-150, he's down pit road for his second stop. Now drivers only have 2 sets of tires available, but with this being a super speedway, tire wear not going to be the most major factor. So we should see some pretty quick stops if we can get to green flag. Pit strategy coming into play here. Again, I really hope it does. One of my favorite things to see when you have 20 drivers all diving down pit road together. There's going to be Gentry and Jones, your front row. Beam and Ropes, Robert Ropes, your second row. Ryan Rose and Dave Grajewski will be the third row for this first restart of the night. Let's see how Gentry enjoys the limelight up front. Chad Waller still on pit road. Looks like everybody else was able to return onto the circuit. Safety car is in. And we are green flag racing once more here at Daytona, the Spark Truck Series. Gentry starting the inside line, but here comes, that's going to be Ryan Jones with a big lunge on the outside line. Field getting a little bit spread out here early on. There's a 78 Ryan Rose also going to the high side. Jones takes over the race lead, hops back to the inside line. That's going to be Ray Beebe up on the high side, the number 89 machine. With Ryan Rose tucked in right behind, Gentry right second line at the bottom. Side by side, drivers did not take a lot of time to get in positions here. Now we did not see any green light in the opening 10 laps before that caution came out. And I wonder if seeing a couple of trucks get wadded up early on might have put a little bit of fear in these drivers. So he say, hey, 60 lap main event, let's take it easy. Got to get here till the end of it. Ryan Rose, like he gave it a little bit of a shimmy there up on the high side. The drivers already approaching their max speed. Last time by, guys, hitting about mid 190 miles an hour. I saw a couple drivers looking over the 197 mile an hour spot. So one little mistake at 200 miles an hour is a quick way to get sent home early. And look to run from Ray B, the high side, the number 89 machine. He's getting pushed by Ryan Rose's 78. Now it looks like, unfortunately, Chad Waller in the 66 has put it behind the pit wall, so we're not expecting to see him back out on track here this evening. Might have just had too much damage on that truck to get it fired back up. Right, Ray Beebe, another credit for a lap led here at Daytona. He's up 5 spots now into first. Hard charge out on track. Ashton Cosner's 34, up 10 positions so far. A quarter of the way through the season opener. Right now it's Beebe, Jones, Rose, your top 3, Gentry, and Bradley. Rounding out the top 5. Speaking of number 5, there's Robert Brobst, on the inside line, right by Jacob Bradley's number 50 machine. You can also see Grajewski, Emerald, Cosner, Rapp, into Hardgrove. The gang is all here, nice and tight. Look at the big shove there. Rose is giving Beebe up front, trying to keep the momentum going up on the high side. But Jones fighting back hard here on the inside line, getting that push from the number 4 of Nathan Gentry. Now everybody except for Gentry has been down pit road. 98% of the field came down around lap 9 under that caution. So we're going to see if this thing goes green. Is Gentry going to be the only driver on an alternative strategy? Nick Steriff back in 20th, a lap down, clipped out the fastest lap of the race, 48.73. He's going to hope for another caution so he can get the lucky dog and wave around. Because that is a lot of drivers to try and fight through to unlap oneself. Bradley, number 50 machine, qualified on pole, back up in that number 1 spot. He's got Ryan Rose behind him. Rose is up 7 positions so far. Oh, it looked like we were hinting at some 3-wide action there. There's Rye Jones on the inside, number 7. And Robert Emerald was up on the high side, the 77 machine. But it looks like it's going to be Ray Beebe, I believe. Yes, going back up to the top side. Maybe feeling that line's a little bit faster, has a good chance of getting him back up there towards Bradley and Rose, who are absolutely hooked up nose to tail, first and second. So Bradley leading the inside line in the race. Ray Beebe leading the high side. Seeing if he can get some momentum here, trying to work the side traffic against the other trucks. Bradley and Rose, they are looking good here, keeping the rest of the field at bay. There's Rye Jones He's going to take a look at the outside line, maybe hoping that Beebe will grab a hold and give him a bit of a push there. Still Chevrolet dominated field. Chevy currently owning the top 11 positions here. Fastest Ford out on track is going to be Patrick Hartgrove back in 12th. Fastest Toyota is going to be Clifton Simmons in the 38 Toyota Tundra. He's running 14th out on track. Looks like Jones getting that draft support he was looking for. The outside lines, grown legs here. Bradley and Rose still linked up on the inside line. But Jones and Beebe seem to have something figured out here. A 200-mile-an-hour game of chess. Some drivers, look at some drivers such as Jeremy Rigney in 12th hit a trap speed of 213 miles an hour. Able to use the draft of the drivers ahead of them that are pushing a whole lot of air. But it was actually Chris Smith in 16th, number 28 Ford F-150. Had the fastest lap of 48.55 and hit 214 miles an hour the lap prior. There's somebody that hopped out of line. That was Peter Stewart. Maybe thinking things were getting a little bit too dicey there, and Stewart's going to go a lap down. For these drivers, especially Rye Jones up front. I mean, I think I'd much rather be up front, but here comes Ray Beebe as well in the 89 machine. Actually going to very briefly take over the race lead right as he crossed the line, getting credit for another lap led here. But historically, things tend to be a little bit safer when you're up front on a super speedway. Nobody is truly safe here at Daytona at 200 miles an hour, but you kind of want to keep the carnage behind you if you can. Still 20 of our 21 entries out on track, 18 drivers on the lead lap. Everybody except for Nathan Gentry, currently 7th on track, has been down pit road at least once, which was under caution. Rye Jones, Ray Beebe, first and second. Jones the inside line, Beebe up high. Let's step more laps. Drivers will display the crossed green and white flag, signaling the halfway mark of today's main event season opener. And man, we are too wide and about 6 rows deep here. Now, if this is your first time watching a super speedway event, when it's about 10, maybe 5 laps left to go, that's when the gloves come off for these drivers. And we're going to see some big lunges towards the front. Right now, it seems like drivers willing to kind of play it safer. And just try and make it to the first green flag stop here. Now, we are expecting about 30 laps on a fuel run. That would mean the fuel window is going to open lap 35-40 if my predictions hold true. Ray Beebe gets a shove from Robert Emerald 77. Allowing Beebe to get briefly almost a full truck length over Jones, but Jones working that inside line has been glued to the apron here. With the support of Jacob Bradley's number 50 machine, going to make it tough for Beebe to take the long way around the high banks of Daytona. And the speed slowed down ever so slightly. Now drivers around the low 190 mile per hour mark. Now, of the drivers on the lead lap, all 18 of them are in this one universal draft pack. 5 laps left to go until we hit the halfway mark of today's main event. Jones and Beebe still side by side up front. The outside line looks like they're losing a few trucks. Maybe some drivers getting set up for some green flag stops here. As drivers get closer to their pit window, you'll see them start to dip over. And there's Nathan Gentry. Comes down pit road all on his Lone Star and the number 4 machine. So he was able to go about 25 laps on a tank of fuel. If that is the max fuel run we can get, that means the rest of the field's going to come down pit road anywhere between lap 34, 35. In theory, they may be able to make it to the end here on fuel, make it a 2-stop race, 1 under caution and 1 green. That's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. Maybe every 89 machine, as we're going to go 3 wide. I think that was lap traffic. Nick Serra. No, it's not Serra. 57 was up on the high side. Couldn't quite see who that was. Oh, that's the 52 of Johnny Rapp coming out of nowhere. Up 14 spots here and suddenly finds himself challenging for the race lead. Right behind Ray Beebe and Robert Amaral. Now there's lap traffic up ahead. I think that may be Peter Stewart. No, that is Nick Seraph ahead of the field in the 67. So Seraph is going to go high to help facilitate the rest of the field taking their way around. Seraph too high, I think. Drags the wall slightly. That is a white knuckle experience for the drivers. When you're already going 2-3 wide, battling for the lead, suddenly find lap traffic ahead of you. And then the whole field tries to condense itself into 1.5 lanes. That's where things can get a little bit rowdy for these drivers. As I say that, there is Peter Stewart going up against the wall to help let these drivers by. Now there's no blue flag rule in super speedway or oval racing. That's every man for himself. But drivers will frequently realize that the lead pack is catching up to them rather quickly and do everything they can to hop out of the way. And let me tell you, as a racer, it's one thing to ruin your own night, but it feels a whole lot worse if you find yourself messing up somebody else's evening. Rapp and Beebe side by side for the race lead. Rapp down low, Beebe up high. Looked like Rapp backed out of it slightly there. As it's going to be Beebe. No, it's going to be Brian Brobst, the number 11 machine, taking over the race lead. So it's Brobst, Beebe, and Rapp. Now 1, 2, 3. Wonder if maybe there's some team orders coming into play, maybe. No, I don't think so. I don't think Rapp is teammates with Brian Brobst. But Rapp maybe try to do a little bit of fuel saving here. If you have somebody ahead of you to take the wind off your truck, you can sometimes squeeze another lap or 2 of fuel out. Because it looked like Beebe was threatening to come down there against the side of Rapp's 52 machine. As we are at the halfway mark, drivers have seen the cross green and white, knowing they are halfway through this season opener. Beebe taking a look at the outside line. Is not going to find too much draft support behind him, though, as Brobst and Rapp stay linked up nose to tail on the inside. Laps left to go here at the high banks of Daytona. It's Brobst, Beebe, Rapp, 1, 2, 3. But we got about 15 drivers separated by less than a second. Steve fires back the number 89 machine. Ropes temporarily showing in second. Ropes fires back. And he's the race leader. That is going to be his 12th spot gain. Qualified P13. Expecting the next 4 to 5 laps to see a flurry of activity on pit road as the pit crews start to get the jacks ready for these drivers. Now we're going to keep an eye on these pit stops as well to see who opts for 4 tires and who only takes fuel on this run. So from what we saw with Nathan Gentry, did about 25 laps on the tank. If these drivers can make it to lap 35, they should be good to go till the end of this feature event, barring any maybe late race cautions or maybe even green-white checkers. I'm going to get a quick look here. We do have one green-white checker overtime finish attempt available. Ray Beebe, Chase Berry, going to be the first drivers down pit road for a green flag stop. The rest of the field staying out here. I'm not sure what Gentry's going to do. Is he going to follow the field down pit road? Or is he going to stay out and try and get a lap back and be off strategy there? So that's going to be a tough call for Gentry to make. Amaral and Ropes battling for the race lead. Barry's going to roll back out on track. As well as Ray Beebe. And here we go. There's that activity we're talking about. Very busy on the pit road. That's Rapp, Ropes, Pienta, Jones, Rigney, Bradley, Rose, Grajewski, Cosner, Smith, Holland, Simmons, Robert Amaral, Patrick Hargrove opt to stay out here. Maybe trying to give themselves a little bit of extra fuel to make it to the end. Maybe accounting for a possible green-white checker attempt. But looks like a fairly uneventful pit road here, thankfully for the drivers. As everybody starts rolling back out on track. I think it was Robert Ropes with one of the best pit stops. It looked like everybody only took fuel here as Patrick Hargrove and Robert Amaral come down pit road. There's Ropes getting it wicked back up on the backstretch, and he's going to have a freight train of drivers behind him. He's got Jones, Rigney. Rigney had a great spot in the number 10 Toyota. Jacob Bradley, Evan Pienta, Ryan Rose all tucked in here. Rigney working the outside line, the number 10 next to Rye Jones in the 7. And Rigney might be able to take over the race lead here from Robert Ropes. And I'm interested to see where Robert Amaral and Patrick Hargrove will find themselves as they roll out of pit road and on the backstretch here at Daytona. There goes the top 5 drivers rocketing by here. Rigney will take over the race lead. Broke still on the inside line, that number 5 machine. There's Pienta in the 55, also up 13 positions, giving a push here to Rigney. On board with Evan Pienta in the 55. Rigney dropping back down low. You're about to see Robert Brooks, the number 5 machine, the left side of your screen. And Pienta get a little bit of draft support. Now he opts to tuck in behind Rigney and Robert Brooks, slotting into that number 3 position. Now it's going to be Chris Smith's turn on the outside line, number 28 Ford F-150. Ashton Cosner again the fastest lap of the race, a 48.13. Almost identical lap times as Clifton Simmons in the 38. "25 laps left to go the season opener. Jeremy Rigney, Chris Smith, Robert Brobst, 1, 2, 3, Dave Grajewski, and Evan Pienta making up the top 5 here. The speeds start to increasing. When are we going to see some big lunges out of these drivers? I would imagine it's going to be about 10 laps left to go. You're going to see some fireworks come into play. There's usually a big one at Daytona. Is it going to strike these drivers? We've had one caution so far, but for the most part, these guys have been very, very clean, very respectful on when they're going to hit their passes. Rigney out front on the inside line. That number 10 Toyota Tundra was predominantly a Chevrolet top 10 field. Now has a bunch of different manufacturers being represented here. Something has happened to Patrick Hargrove. He takes a tow down pit road after entering pit road. So I wonder if Hargrove had some sort of issues in the 74. Peter Stewart's been in pit road for about 5 minutes now, so I don't know if he's going to rejoin. Might be putting it back behind the wall, accompanying Chad Waller in that 66 machine. On board your race leader, though, Jeremy Rigney, the number 10 Toyota. He's our hard charger up 13 positions. And there's Chris Smith, number 28 Ford, keeping the pressure on in the outside line. Rigney getting Smith getting a push there from Grajewski's number 6 machine, while Robert Brobst is pushing second in line on the inside. He's giving a shove to Jeremy Rigney. So 17 drivers out on the lead lap, 18 drivers still on the high banks of Daytona. Nick Serif hoping for a late race caution to try and get back in the lead lap. But it looks like Serif is about to go down another lap here. Serif goes high. No, that's going to be Richard Holland, going a lap down to 31. And Holland in a tough spot, able to get up against the wall, let the field make their way around. But that has shaken things up a little bit in the top 5. Drivers trying to get small and work their way through here. Rigney enjoying the clean air up front. Chris Smith leading the outside line here. Laps left to go. So everybody seems to be content running too wide. Not willing to throw caution to the wind just quite yet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is about 12 drivers, nose to tail, separating less than a second from 1st through 12th place right now. You've got Robert Amaral and Chase Berry running 13th and 14th. They're linked up nose to tail, hoping something happens in this top 12, to get them back into the fray. Now, we saw Gentry go 25 laps on fuel. If 25 is the max, that's going to be putting these drivers about 2 laps short on fuel. Nick Serif is back down pit road. That is going to be a big question. Will these drivers have enough fuel to make it to the end here? Are we going to see one last-ditch mad pit road stop for these drivers to make it till the end on a tank? Maybe a situation where we see a splash and go. but a big fan of the professionalism out of these drivers. We had that one early caution that I'm not sure wasn't caused by a hardware issue. Other than that, these drivers have been running very, very clean here. Now, with 10 or 5 laps left to go, I'm sure that's going to get thrown out the window. As everybody sees a little bit of red and a last chance to gain some ground. Rigney and Smith side by side, the high banks here. Everybody watching with bated breath to see what these drivers are going to do. The Spartan Truck Series drivers putting on a great show for the season opener. And if you want to get on the action, the link to the Spartan Sport is in the description on YouTube. And you can get in on the action every Wednesday night here, always broadcasted by Team Boom Squad. Rigney and Smith side by side for the race lead. Probst and Grajewski, third and fourth, second in line, high and low. Smith, a big run on the outside line, but Rigney takes it back over, hugging the apron. Are we going to see one more green flag stop by the time it's all said and done? Everybody inside the top 12 all came down pit road on lap 33 and took a full tank of fuel. We've only seen one driver stay out from the very beginning till their first box. That was Nathan Gentry. Everybody else came down pit road a little bit early under caution. And they only did about 24 laps on a tank of gas. And if everything stays true, that's going to put them 2 to 3 laps short on fuel unless they were short pitting here. But surely somebody is accounting for a green-white checker attempt and wanting to make sure they have enough fuel to account for a possible 3 extra laps. Now something has happened. Trying to see who fell off there. It looked like Chris Smith, number 28, backed out of it heavily. And that's going to allow Evan Pienta a big run the outside line, getting pushed by Rye Jones. There's the number 28 of Chris Smith, third in line on the high side. Jeremy Rigney on the inside, the number 10 machine is going to suddenly find himself sitting fourth. 15 laps left to go here. Lap traffic just ahead for the race leaders. I think that's going to be Richard Holland. Holland goes up high. The rest of the field looked briefly like they weren't sure what was happening there. We saw a little bit of a 3-wide breakout. Maybe the drivers realizing that's not somebody making a lunge for the front. That was a little bit of traffic. And still, the top 12 get through nice and quick, still separated by less than a second for these top 12 drivers. Still 15 drivers on the lead lap. Looks to be 19 drivers still out on track. And Pienta is now up 15 positions in that number 55 Chevrolet. Rye Jones sitting second, Jeremy Rigney. No, it's going to be Chris Smith now showing third. Smith trying to make something happen on the high side, but Rigney fires back. Robert Probst also in line on the low side. And I think I spot a Clifton Simmons, the 38. showing 38. I'm not quite sure if he's got the right number on the side of the truck. Ooh, somebody had a bit of a lag there, a bit of a blink. I think that was Robert Brooks in the number 5 machine, as Brooks has fallen back. Pienta's still up front, with Rye Jones pushing in the second place spot. Chris Smith third in line on the inside. You can see Grajewski, the number 6, trying to get the outside line going. We've got 12 laps. We're ready to click it over to 11 here. Nathan Gentry down pit road for what should be his final stop of the evening. And we got confirmation it was indeed Robert Brooks having some sort of connection issues in that number 5 Chevrolet. Thankfully nobody got tangled in that one. And what happened to Ray Mead to put him a lap down? Brian Brooks, Evan Pienta side by side for the race lead. We haven't seen any gutsy 3-wide action just quite yet, but the other question is who's going to be short on fuel here to make it till the end? And there we go. 10 laps left in this season opener. It's Brian Brooks, Evan Pienta, Jacob Bradley, Rye Jones, Dave Krajewski rounding out the top 5. But still only a second separating 1st through 12th here. So anybody inside the top 12 still has a shot out of it if we go green till the end. We had one early caution. And drivers have had one pit stop under green flag conditions. Brian Brooks, your race leader, the number 11 machine. We've whittled it down to 13 drivers on the lead lap. Jacob Bradley up on the high side. Looks like a little bit of traffic ahead of him. That's going to be Richard Holland, the number 31, fighting to stay on the lead lap here. As the 55 of Evan Pienta giving a shove to Brian Brooks, keeping the momentum up on the inside. Holland is going to officially go a lap down here, and we're going to go 3 wide with lap traffic. That's the number 4 of Nathan Gentry going another lap down. And for the field, able to get through nice and easy. And look at that, Richard Holland gets his lap back from Brian Brooks, holding on to it with everything he's got here. 8 laps left to go as we're starting to see some gutsy moves. Brian Brooks says, I don't have time for traffic as we go on board that number 11 machine. Oh, we're going to go 3 wide and a couple rows deep here. Here comes Evan Pienta as well. Getting some support from Jacob Bradley. And they're 3 wide right behind. That's Rye Jones squeezed in the middle. The number 11 of Brian Brooks down low. Richard Holland did everything he could to try and hold on to staying on that lead lap, but the rest of the field had other plans. And Evan Pienta seemed like he got a good deal out of that one. Pienta goes high, throws a block against Rye Jones. And that will allow Bradley to take back over the race lead. Oh, here we go. 7 laps left to go. The gloves are coming off the season opener. The field is actually tightened up a little bit. Now the top 11 within 8, 9 tenths of each other. It's Bradley, Brooks, Pienta, Smith, and Jones, your current top 5. 6 laps left to go. Robert Brooks takes a tow to pit road, so I think he definitely had some sort of internet issues. Oh, and there we go. I think that was Chris Smith getting absolutely pulverized there. A caution out, 6 laps left to go. And I think that was Smith was the initial truck involved in that one. I saw it in the corner of my eye just in time. And that's exactly what it was. Can't tell if Smith goes high. I can't tell if Smith goes high or Jones comes down low, but Smith gets absolutely pulverized. Number 7 of Jones doesn't get through it clean either. And a hard hit for that number 28 of Chris Smith. And the rest of the field starts stacking it up here. Trying to see who else is involved in that one. Looks like Smith, Cosner, Gentry, Jones. Rajewski tied up in that one, taking a tow back to pit road. Oh, massive hits all the way around, so this field's about to get a lot thinner here. And I'm curious, is this going to put us in a green-white checker conditions? It's going to be close. I think it will. And I'm trying to see who's still standing after this one. That's going to be our second caution of the night, very late to the evening. Is Bradley going to lead the field down pit road, or is he going to try and psych out the competition? No, he's going to commit here, coming down pit road. Let's see if anybody's staying out to try and get a lap back here. I think Chase Berry might be driving a little bit wounded. That 46 machine is inching along here at Daytona. So Pienta in and out very quickly, 6.1 seconds. Ryan Brooks, 7.22. Jacob Bradley a little bit longer on pit road at 9.72 second pit stop. So I believe Pienta and the 55 will be starting this race up front. Or with this restart up front, I should say. I can't quite tell. I'm fairly confident this is going to be green-white checker conditions. So if live timing is correct, it's going to be Pienta and Brooks your front row, Bradley and Rose your second row, Amaral and Rapp your third row. And quite a few drivers extended stay on pit road. Rye Jones, Jeremy Rigney, Richard Holland, Clifton Simmons, Ray Beebe, Chase Berry, Chris Smith. Looks like Grajewski has put it behind the wall. So I'm seeing about 9 drivers on the lead lap here. Now we have just one green-white checker attempt, so if we have another caution before the race leaders take the white flag, we will end this thing under caution. And I'm showing 10, maybe 11 drivers on the lead lap as we get some drivers getting a wave around here. But yes, we're in green-white checker conditions. Who inside this top 10, top 12 has an undamaged race truck to have a shot at the win here, the season opener? Right now I'm showing 11 drivers on the lead lap. I don't know if Nick Seraph is going to get back out on track in time to make a showing of this. As it's Evan Pienta, Brian Probst up front, Jacob Bradley, Ryan Rose third and fourth, Robert Amaral and Johnny Rapp running fifth and sixth. It looks like, yes, 11 drivers on the lead lap as Rye Jones tries to catch up to the field before the green flag. And our one and only green-white checker attempt here at the season opener. We wait for the safety car to come down pit road for what could be the final time here tonight. Safety car is in. And we are green flag racing. Looks like Brian Brooks had a little bit of wheel spin there on the high side. That's going to allow Pienta and Bradley to get the smallest bit of a breakaway here. 2 laps left to go. Who's got the truck still underneath them? I still think anybody in the top 5 has a good chance here, but I saw a puff of smoke from somebody. Brian Brooks with a big run on the outside line. He's getting pushed by Ryan Rose, and I believe the 52 of Johnny Rapp. Brooks drops back down low. The white flag will be out this time by. If we can take the white flag, we will finish this under green flag conditions. Looks like Pienta and Bradley linked up nose to tail, making a run for it. White flag is out. It's Pienta, Bradley, Rose, 1, 2, 3, as they charge down the backstretch here at Daytona International, the final time of the season opener. Oh, this is going to be close. Pienta doing everything he can, but he's got Bradley, Rose, and Rapp right there as well. Bradley up high, Pienta down low. There's a 78 of Rose giving a shove to Pienta. Meanwhile, Bradley's got the support of the 52 of Johnny Rapp. You can keep an eye out as well. The number 11 of Brian Probst right there in the mix. They come out of turn 4 for the final time. Brian Probst, no, it's going to be the 78. Gets spun, and it's going to be a disaster. It shows Evan Pienta, Brian Probst, and Johnny Rapp as your top 3. And everybody's crashing. We're going to have to get that one replayed and queued up. Let's take a quick look at that before we get these drivers up into the top 3. There's the 78 of, I believe, Ryan Rose getting a little bit, let's call it a little bit help sideways, is how we're going to describe that one. Rose was down low. Probst was trying to get back on the inside line. Rose gets hooked into the 50 machine. And look at that, Evan Pienta able to get through the madness, guarding that inside line. But look at this, Brian Probst, Johnny Rapp, I think that's Richard Holland as well, crossing through the infield. As Evan Pienta just sails off into the sunset there. Evan Pienta burning it down. And a wild finish, the season opener of the Spark Racing League Truck Series. And Pienta enjoying the moment going to try and get these drivers up here into victory lane, waiting on Brian Brobst, Johnny Rapp, and Evan Pienta. So we're going to start things off with Johnny Rapp. Let's see if I can grab him. There we go. We got Johnny on number 52 machine. Johnny up 52, up 14 spots, the number 52 machine. And what a way to end it, sliding through the infield here at Daytona.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
I mean, it's super speedway racing. We kind of all know what to expect getting into one of these things, but are you pretty pleased with how that one went for a season opener at a wide open track such as this?
Oh, I couldn't ask for anything more. It was I mean, one of the cleanest plate races I've ever been in, with only a couple cautions, and yeah, everybody did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, we had green flag stops. We had all sorts of action across the field. And I mean, 14 spots, able to keep your nose clean. I mean, no fast repair is well available for you. So, what was the strategy coming into tonight to make it to the end of this as clean as possible?
Yeah, I mean, you probably saw it in broadcast. I just kind of hang out at the back of the lead pack. You know, that's what I was doing. Was trying to save gas, but I wasn't going to be able to save enough. Then, you know, that one caution kind of re-racked them and gave us a shot, so we didn't have to worry about gas. And at that point, it's go time. You know. So.
Well, Johnny, it was a ton of fun to watch from up here in the booth. I'm sure it's just as much fun to drive it. But who would you like to give a shout out to that helps make this third place possible for you?
Well, yeah. Shout out to the family watching in the living room. Shout out to you for putting the show on. You do a great job, and everybody else that's involved in putting this league on. You know, Jacob, Robert. You know, the props, and everybody else that helps out. Everybody that showed up tonight. You know, great race and something to be proud of. You know.
Yep, very well said. Johnny, congratulations on a big third and hope to have you back up here a bunch this season.
Hey, we'll see.
That was Johnny Rapp bringing it home in third. Up next, somebody we haven't talked to in way too long. Welcome back, Brian. Brian, is it Brobst or Brops? I'm not sure if people are messing with me anymore.
Ropes.
Brobst, okay, I'm right and everybody else is wrong then. Brian, it's good to have you back up here, man. It's been way too long and able to bring home a second sliding through the infield, linked up with Rapp there. And what a wild finish and some great laps led from that number 11 machine.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was. I had to leave on the white, taking the white, and I saw the Pienta and Bradley were together. I was like, I don't have a prayer here. I just want a top five. And then when it came off turn four, the car was in front of me. It was went high, low, high, low. Then there was enough room for there was a hole there, and that's the only chance I had, and that's Daytona. So I apologize to anyone who got wrecked there, but it's Daytona. I saw a hole. I had to go fill that hole.
Yeah, it's super speedway racing. I always call it the draft lottery. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's a season opener. I'd say about half the field I haven't seen race with each other. A lot of you guys have tons of seat time, so surely there's no ill will. It's just a bunch of guys having fun racing at Daytona.
Oh yeah, that's Daytona there for you. Some people could be upset, some people, but it was a very clean race. So that was pretty awesome. It was 60 laps, and we had two cautions. One was the guy's steering wheel died on him. Other than that, I mean, it was a pretty clean race. So, I can't. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a GoFundMe or something going to upgrade Seraph's Bluetooth connection that he has going on. But Brian, it was a great race at Daytona. Any tracks you're especially happy about seeing on the schedule this season?
The only one I'm really happy with is Dover. So, other than that, we'll see. I don't really know what the schedule is off the top of my head, but I know Dover's on there. And that's my hometown track.
Well, looking forward to it. Just showing up and racing and doing well. Gotta love the attitude. Brian, it's always a pleasure, buddy. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you bring home a second here today?
Oh, just want to shout out everyone that got this new Spark Racing League put together. It's a new league, and the first night was a great was a great night. So I'd like to thank everybody involved, everyone who showed up. like to thank you for broadcasting. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian, and hope to have you back up here later on the season.
Alrighty, thank you.
That was Brian Probst bringing it home in second. I'm very glad I was saying his name properly this whole time. But let's see if we can grab him here. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Evan Pienta. Evan, am I saying that last name correctly?
You are.
Excellent. Otherwise, I've been saying it wrong for 63 some odd laps here tonight. But Evan, walk me through that one, man. I mean, at some points, it seemed like you were playing it safe. At other points, you said, you know what? Let's just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was just kind of a waiting game. Our group of us kind of tried to pit. We're on a strategy trying to make it after that early cautions. Thought we could have made it maybe on a one stop, and then as we kept going, we kind of realized it wasn't going to be, and we were going to probably have to pit with about 3 laps to go, or we needed a caution, which we ended up getting, so we could pit. And then that kind of evened up the field in the very end there, and then started in the pole, got the good, jumped a couple people off pit road, and then was thankful to have a teammate, Jacob Bradley, behind me, and was able to kind of get in front of that 11, who's kind of like a sitting duck. And then it was a matter of once getting by him, it was just trying to block both Jacob and then the 78. Knew Jacob was going to go to the outside, and then just hope that Ryan could push me to the win, and then off of 4, just saw the chaos behind me and knew it was sealed the deal. So
And that leads me to two great questions. So the first one, Evan, is I've seen a lot of these drivers turn laps in the past, either different race leagues or practice sessions, stuff like that. How do you come into this group, who some of the guys you haven't seen before? How do you figure out on the fly who you can push with and who you can trust and maybe who you need to give a little bit of room? How do you figure that out at 200 miles an hour?
well, fortunately, there's a lot of guys in here that I've raced with before and know their tendencies. But like you said, about probably 66% of this field I've never raced with before, so it's kind of like you take the first few laps, see how guys push, see how guys hold their line in the middle of the corner, see how they handle pushes, see who's trying to get up to the front early, who's trying to be conservative, and then based off of that, decide, all right, can I trust this person? Do I need to get out of line if this person's going to be in front of me, or if this guy's gonna, if I can be more aggressive around this guy and trying to pinch him down on the inside. But I think it takes a little bit, but especially I think here, Daytona I think is a really good tale of who can be good and who can be not so good.
That's a very diplomatic way of putting that. I appreciate it. Evan, speaking of kind of tied into that, I guess my second to last question is, what was the sense of relief when you saw that carnage behind you coming out of 4? I mean, almost properly in the trial at that point, and then the field just kind of parted behind you, and you're out there in no man's land, 3/10 up over anybody.
Yeah, I mean it was I kind of that whole last lap I wasn't even looking out my on my windshield. I was looking at my mirror the whole time. So I just saw the 78 get hooked up into the 50, and then kind of just after that I was still watching it behind me coming to the line. Um, wouldn't have even realized that there was somebody next to me. But just happy to get the win, and I don't think I could have done it with the man on my spoiler there, Dale Earnhardt.
Well, praise Dale, Evan, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night, my friend. For the first time this season, some good momentum in you in that number 55 Chevrolet. But who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen? Friends, family, sponsors. The floor is all yours.
You for putting the broadcast on. All the Spark guys putting the league on. Excited to run the rest of the season with them, and my teammates over at Payday Racing. Evan Pienta Designs, my design company, and then Epic Machinery, and yeah, my family.
Evan, well, congratulations on a big first win. Hopefully, many more to come, and we'll see you on, I'm sure, later on this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Evan Pienta bringing it home in the top spot, the season opener of the Spark Truck Series here at the Spark Racing League. Pienta was accompanied by Brian Probst finishing second and Johnny Rapp finishing third. On behalf of the Spark Racing League as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is Ben James East. Thank you all so much for spending your Wednesday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.